Okay, so happy Thursday, everyone. Obviously it's our Diamond Dash call tonight, and I apologize, allergies like crazy. So, just a little pre-note. Obviously we've all been through the ringer this month, and the last little month. If you guys haven't been on the Diamond Dash page today, you're in for a treat when you do get on, because we've had an emotional roller coaster ride, and it's not just one person in particular, it's a lot of us feeling the same way. And just realize that, yes, it stinks, but it's part of the roller coaster ride. I was texting Breezy today, and she's like, welcome to entrepreneurship, and that really is what it comes down to is, I loved how, if you haven't listened to it, Brittany and Breezy both identified like how she really is like a lifer in this, and how she identified like she's in this, she's had a peak, she's in a valley right now, but she's identified ways to get out. And, those are that's what's going to make her and all of you guys to the top. And that's what's going to make your breakthrough come, is identifying those things where, when we have those slumps, and how we're going to get out of our own valleys, because each of us have our own that we go through. I'm in one now as well. Like, I didn't hit some of my goals, and, it is what it is. And I can moan and whine about it, or I can cry a little bit and vent a little bit and move on. And it's interesting, Breezy, Dr. Roseman last night, sounds like Brittany had one too. Like, Mark and I had almost the exact same conversation as we went to bed last night. So it's just been one of those months, and realize that like me and Breezy are here for you guys, and we love you guys more than you probably even know. We create this stuff for you to use. I know some of you guys are behind, and that's okay. Just know it's here for you. So when you're struggling with a certain topic, or you're trying to get out of a valley, you can go and look at certain topics that we've talked about over the course of this Diamond Dash. So anyways, and it's Breezy on. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So I can just start and kind of go from like how I start my coaches off. And then I want you guys to see that Breezy does things differently. And we've both seen success in the business, and we've both started our coaches off completely different, and realized that I started off the business different than what I'm doing right now. A lot of this training wasn't available. Breezy, when she started, like, it wasn't even available. Like, this is all brand new stuff that's available to you. So like, and I said that on the post, I have been going through trying to figure out like what's the key, like, and I've been trying to figure out, and I posted it on the Diamond Dash, like what kept me going. And, there was those three main reasons that kept me going. And that's what I wanted to tie into my coaches, because those are the things that kept me going. So as I talk about this, realize that this isn't the correct way. This is just one way, and this is one way that you can use and tweak. This is one way that you can avoid like the plague. Like, you've just got to understand that whatever you do is going to be best for your team, because your girls or boys better than I know them, or Breezy, or anyone else on this, chat tonight. So, one of the things that kept me going is, and I'll say this, like, and Breezy knows this, like, she called me so many times at the beginning to like check in on my goals. She talked about my downline, like, who's the potential builder, who's this, and so I wanted to have that close-knit relationship at the beginning, especially because I wanted my coaches to know at the beginning from day one that I was there. And so I decided for me that I was going to do Zoom chats with them every Tuesday night for the first month. And that is my way of showing my love language to them, is me showing up every Tuesday night for them consistently that first month. And then they can still hop on my personally sponsored Zoom chat after that first month, and then the cycle can start over. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to do it this way. Number two is of course, like most of you, I felt super lost and super overwhelmed at the very beginning. And I'm a checklist, my brain organized through checklists. And I wanted, like, if someone was to tell me, Ashley, this is what you need, this is what you need to do every single day, I can do it and I can get there. So I wanted to make sure like my coaches understood the basics of the business without trying to overwhelm them. And so that's why, again, I did this. And the third reason why I created this, or this system, is when I started, there was about 4, 5, maybe 6 coaches of us that were put. We were just Breezy's original coaches. So like, I don't even know if it was like on purpose, but it was really like the only like coaches she had at the time. And I say that I had no idea I was one of her first coaches until later on in the business. I just assumed Breezy had been doing this forever. I just assumed that she's at least been doing this for months, but not weeks, like when I, maybe a month when I started, I don't know. But, just little things like that. And so I wanted my coaches to develop a culture and have a success partner. So many times our success partners that we're maybe paired up with at the beginning don't always work. And, with this little group chat that I put them in at the very beginning, I'm hoping that they develop a sense of culture between those 1, 3, 5, 6, whatever, hopefully more in the future, as I recruit more. But I wanted them to feel like they had a safe environment where they could ask questions, they can bounce ideas. And it's interesting as I've done this, is I've gotten some creative, free group ideas or different things to do, because my brain has been doing this for over 2 years. And I have like my system and I have what's working, that sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't think outside the box. So they come up with different things. And that's what happened when I was in this little group chat, or it was actually a Facebook group with Breezy's coaches, is we started brainstorming all these free group ideas that we could do, because everyone at that time was pretty much just doing clean eating groups. And that wasn't my personality. I am the worst clean eater in the entire world. Like, don't ask me to eat clean. It's just not going to happen. And so those groups weren't working for me at the beginning. So I wanted something different. And that's where us 4 or 5 girls started creating different groups that we all just shared and kind of went from there. So I know we've talked about a little bit about getting coaches started off right. And I just kind of wanted to go through my process, and so you guys can see and understand kind of the process of how I do everything. And I will share this. I didn't want to share it before in the group because I didn't know if it would make sense to you guys necessarily right away. But I've created in my little check-in page for my PS coaches in my downline. Yeah, you can see I've been working, like, I have tons of stuff open, so just bear with me here. So I created this little album, and I will share this. Most of you guys know I have a little, I just have it, it's called Tribal Band Coach Training and Check-In. So all my coaches have access to the trainings and stuff that I put together. And as I've done like the Diamond Dash training, I've taken like folders and documents and put them in here. And so I will share this album for anyone who wants it. But what I did, I just literally created a How to Get a Coach Started Off Right album. And I have the 12 tips that I shared on Sunday, and just the process of everything I do here. And yes, Breezy will have this up in her coach training too. It's just, we've been creating all this the last, since Diamond Dash started. So, we're just trying to get caught up with what she's put together, what I've put together. And so she might have different things than I have right now and stuff like that. So, just realize that. And so this is the new coach survey. So it literally is exactly what you guys saw in the Diamond Dash group. It's the same Google link that I sent you guys. So what I do is the day someone says, I want a coach, or the day that they sign up as a discount coach, I send them this survey. It's just an automatic survey that I send them. And so they can tell me if they want to be a discount coach. Sometimes it's interesting because I find that after I send this, a discount coach might say, ooh, that's kind of interesting. Like, maybe I do want to make this a hobby or something. Then I can put them in my What Is Coaching group. And so this survey is really nice. Another reason why I like it is, I said this before, but it allows me to see who's going to get back with me ASAP. And I can tell you about 85-90% of the time, those who return this ASAP end up being my girls who show up consistently every single day. And so there's something about that first initial assignment, just like you go to a job interview and that first initial look and how you're dressed kind of thing. This is like my first impression of a coach. Don't judge a book by cover. Life happens. Sometimes they can't get it back to you right away. And that's why I say, 85-90% of the time, and some people send it back and they're not. But that's what's in there. My new coach letter, again, this is exactly what you guys saw in the Diamond Dash. I'm not even going to worry about opening it because it's the exact same thing. But after they send me that new coach survey, what I do is I send them, if they say they want to build, I send them my welcome letter. And for those of you guys who didn't read the Diamond Dash, I haven't been through the assignments, the way my groups are set up, I have a 60-day group that starts the end of the month, and I have a What is Coaching group that starts the third Monday of the month. So most of my builders sign up the last 2 weeks, because in my 60-day group, I can see who's participating and switch them over from a customer to a discount coach, and they can go into my What is Coaching group and see how it's, see what it's like. So if they want to build, come the first Monday of the month, I can put them in my Coach Basics group. And then I do my What is Coaching group the third Monday of the month, because again, that allows them the whole week to see if they want to build. So that gives them a week for them to go over the new coach letter, kind of go, and then we start with the first Monday of the month with Coach Basics together in this group chat. So I set my month up that way kind of on purpose, because I don't want this big lull before they start Coach Basics. I do explain to them that they can work at their own pace, and they can work much faster than one lesson a day. That's up to them. They know that they can go into this page that I've created and go into Coach Basics. There's a checklist of everything that they need to do so they can go faster. I have a coach or coaches, they'll say like, I only have one girl. Well, perfect. Put you and the girl in the chat, and you guys can just chat back and forth and just, it's like a personal coach at that point. So that's what I do after my new coach letter. I explain to them, like, I'm going to start Coach Basics the first Monday of the month. And, it's kind of go from there. The next little folder is just the Facebook group chat. I will open this because I don't remember which document this is. Oh, this kind of just explains the process of what I do. So you guys can, for those who are like need to read to understand, like me, I have to read 20,000 times before I finally get it. This is kind of what I do. The daily training posts, the first month schedule that they're going to follow. And then you will notice that day one, the only thing we do is introduce ourselves. We introduce ourselves in the group so they can see that, okay, I'm a teacher too, or I'm a nurse, I'm a full-time mom, I'm a busy mom, I work full-time, like who is relatable. They can introduce themselves and kind of find that. I tell them to mark their calendar for the GSR, which is always that Tuesday, it's the next night. And then to read over the new coach letter, and if they haven't done the coach survey. So that's the first day in the group. And then the second day in the group, they're going to hop on the Zoom chat, but they need to print out the Getting Started Right checklist, which is everything I talk about that night on the Zoom chat, and then print out the schedule that we're going to be using. So I can talk about that at the GSR. And then the actual training starts day 3. So that's kind of how that works out. And then I also have for you guys to use if you want is the Coach Basics. So like literally this is what, nope, that's the wrong one. Let's see. So I send them a calendar, and I also send them so they know what we're doing every single day. So if they want to go at their own pace, they know what we're doing. But I do have the daily trainings that I post, and you guys can have that if you guys want to use them in your Coach Basics chat. What I did is I literally went over just to give you like the outline of it and the kind of the order that I'm using. I am going, the first 2 I just talked about, literally we go over, like the first day is obviously 3 vital behaviors. We go into posting to Facebook, what is Emerald, what is Success Club. We go into those right at the beginning. So they know from day 1 that they set an Emerald date and they set a Success Club date. So the first week of Coach Basics, that first month, they set up their SC date and their Emerald date. And so they go through Coach Basics, and then we kind of get into the action part, the Power Hour, the Compound Effect. We all read the Compound Effect together so they can talk about it. There's a little link where there's like a little book study that they can do with the Compound Effect. That's there. So we do that together. We talk about that. There's certain days that they need to read certain chapters. So then we go into actions. They make their 100 list, kind of going from there. I don't do anything on Sundays. Saturday's the weekend. It's their catch-up day, and it's a post day. So they, the first time they post, I'll go over that schedule, but every Saturday they post about something different. So that's kind of how it works. Once they kind of finish Coach Basics, I've decided, because I wanted to dive into this like page stuff, I just, as much as I have that force of resistance, I've decided that that is important, and I wanted to do that. So I kind of start in how to create their story, how to brand themselves from day one. And they kind of go through that as well. So we go into the branding towards the end, how to create a like page, how to create their like page banner, so they can start branding themselves from the first month of the business. So that's kind of the outline. I go through Coach Basics, which is my Coach Basics and Emerald combined, and then we go straight into branding themselves, so they can just know that they need to create a story to tell on their journey. So that is that. And then the last thing is I do my internet's being awesome. Sorry, let me open it up. Apparently I have lots of windows open. Okay, this is let's see. Holy tabs open. I know. Don't tell my husband. He gets very happy when I have tons of tabs and he goes to use the computer. Sorry, I'm just going to find it real fast. Let me just click into what's another tab to open real fast. So again, this is the schedule. Nothing's even copy and pasting. It's going so slow. Okay, this is the schedule that they follow. The same thing, I just put it into a calendar. Now remember, we're always going to start the first Monday of the month. So no matter what it is, the first Monday is always going to be the intro. So if that Monday falls here, I just need to adjust the date. Saturdays, as far as it goes, they do their first paid group post talking about it, so they can start saying that they're co-hosting a paid group with me. The second Saturday, they're going to do a why I decided to coach post, a fitness post of some sort, and then a Shakeology post that first Saturday. And then the very last thing I'll say before I turn it over is, like I said, Tuesday nights, because my husband works late, I decided that Tuesday night was going to be the night that I do these Zoom chats. The very first week is my GSR with them, and there is a link here where you can see the presentation that I do, so you can tweak it however you want. But I made a little presentation for it, so it's just easier. And the second week is conversations, and this is literally the same tribe call that I did like a month ago on conversations and how to perfect them. So we go over that. And then, so I use that same presentation, just kind of walk them through it. The third week, we talk about how they need to start their business, or tracking their business activity tracker. And then I talk about volume and coach placement. For me, I show them my income progression here. This is where I get on and show them again, I emphasize going Emerald and hitting Success Club so they can see, and helping their coaches replicate. So they can see at the beginning, I didn't make very much. And then they can see where I am, a year into the business, 2 years into the business, and they can see that compound effect because we've been reading the compound effect. And then the last week is just a Q&A, and then if they have any questions on their like pages. So those are the Zoom chats that I set up the first month. And then after the first month, I explained to them that all that training is available to them. They can work at their own pace, however they want to work, whatever trainings they want to do. That we still are not dropping them, because Thursday night is still our call as a team, and we can chat about whatever we at that time need to chat about. So let me see what the chat box says. Yes, just funny things. So that's the way I do it. I'll turn it over to Breezy and kind of let her explain her thoughts on everything and go from there. If you guys have questions, we'll just answer them all at the end. Does that sound good?
Hi, let me get my screen up. Okay, so me and Ashley are perfect for each other because she keeps me super organized and I'm super fly by the seat of my pants. So I'll just kind of go over a few things I've done, because the one thing I think that we both want to emphasize to you guys is that there's no one right way to do it, just as long as you do something and you show your support for your new coaches. And that you are showing up as their leader and have a place for them. That's the main thing. And, you know, when I signed up as a new coach, there wasn't Coach Basics. There was Coach Online Office Training, which is where Brigida sent me to go through the Coach Training Academy. And I did that. And then she started trying to put together her own online training. And I kind of started working through that. And she did have different, you know, like little groups and things like that. So I was able to connect. So the point is not necessarily how you do it, but that you do something. So like Ashley said, I started off doing like Coach Basics groups, running like the 30-day groups, which personally, I think that it's better to condense, from what everybody, all the elite coaches and everything, they basically have taken the Coach Basics from the Coach Online Office and condensed it. And that's basically what Ashley and I's version is a condensed of that. And trying to think of what else I've done. I mean, we have the tribecoachtraining.com website. I ran with that for a while, and then just had this coach check-in group for people to come into if they wanted to check in. And right now what I'm doing is similar to Ashley, but it's more hands-off. And I am I'm going to get out of breath. Holy cow. It's hard to be pregnant, you guys. I forgot how hard it is. I'm literally sitting on a pillow, and I have a pillow and a heating pad behind me. Like, I'm like this old, like, pregnant lady, and I'm out of breath. My belly's huge. And it probably doesn't help. I just ate like an 8-inch Jimmy John's sandwich. And so I'm like, whew. Okay. Anyway, so what I'm doing now is like what Ashley's doing, but it's hands off, because that's my personality. And I struggle with, not with consistency, but I struggle with too many things or over scheduling myself. I get overwhelmed and then I just like run away. So this is easy for me to do it this way and still have a support and a structure there for my people, but it's just less hands-off for me. So what I do is I have my coach training group set up, my whole entire downline. So that means every single one of you are invited to this group. I have the pinned post, which is my banner, and I have the steps for them to go through. So, go to the coach welcome letter, and in the coach welcome letter, it's like probably identical to Ashley's. And then, watch this video. And what I actually do for my GSRs, I've gone back and forth on GSRs. I've got on the phone with people before, and I've not done GSRs at all or sent them anything. And now I'm doing this. This is new. And this is a pre-recorded GSR. And this is an idea that I got from some elite coaches, and this is what they do. There are top coaches that are like adamant, like I get on the phone with my new coaches. And there are top coaches, one that lives right next to me, Micah Folsom, she never does GSRs at all with her coaches. So it's like I said, it's not how you do it, it's that you have something there. So I have a pre-recorded GSR. They do the new coach survey. I encourage them to review the new coach manual. Again, like Ashley, I encourage them to get a binder or something to stay organized, because as we know, as a new coach, it's super overwhelming. And then I do have this group to encourage them to check in. Do people check in? No, probably because I haven't made it a habit, and so they haven't made it a habit. I have the photos, the albums set up like Ashley does, so they can work through at their own pace. I explain that they can work through at their own pace. The different albums, go through the different days of the trainings. And my coaches, if you see all those fancy trainings that Ashley showed you in hers, I'll copy them over here because That's pretty much all I did with those ones was I just copied over the ones Ashley had. I tweaked some things and I made them my own Google Doc files and things like that. So this is super duplicatable, like for you guys. Like if you want to set up a group like this for your downline, you can do it. Like literally it took me, I think like 2 hours to just like hurry and copy over and like tweak the files to make them my own from what Ashley had done. And I know that she took some of my files and tweaked some different things in files from other people. So it's super easy and super duplicatable. Like don't think that this is like going to take a lifetime to do. Like you can do this now. And what I started doing, I just started this month, but I'm going to do it every month. And you'll see I have like no engagement. And that's because I literally, guys, I have like 2 new coaches. Like my recruiting has been way low. So I don't have engagement and that's okay, but I'm going to be consistent with it and I'm just going to keep doing it. So what I'm going to do is, what I've started doing is run through a round of Coach Basics starting at the beginning of the month, and then go through a round of Rocket to Emerald, my Rocket to Emerald training, both which are in the albums, but I'm just going to post them. So they constantly have it in front of them. The new coaches, if they want to get in there and go through the training, they know that it starts at the beginning of the month. And yeah, so like I said, a lot more hands off. The other element of this that I think is key is that you follow up with your new coaches. And that's where Ashley's group chats come in. I have done group chats and they can be really, really beneficial. So if that's something that you want to do, I say go for it, do the group chats. Or if you have like at me, if you just signed up one coach, then make sure that you're connecting with them. You're saying, hey, like, did you have any questions about the new coach letter? Did you have a chance to watch the GSR? Oh, no. Okay, well, when are you going to have a chance to watch it? Let me, I'd love to connect with you and answer any questions you had about it. Or even at that point, that would be good to set up a time to chat, like, hey, like, you've been through the GSR call, like, let's get on the phone. Like, I want to answer your questions or whatever. So just make sure that you're connecting with them. It would be a good time to send them a voice message to let them hear your voice, let them know that you are there for them. Yeah, I don't know that I really have anything else to share, but like all the files and everything, like Ashley was talking about, they're yeah. Anything else you want me to share?
No. Can I just add one thing though? Is that you were talking?
Yes.
Like Breezy said, and we said before, like there's no right way. What I would strongly, strongly encourage is to figure out your love language. Because what that is, like we talk about your niche market, right? We talk about that all the time. And when you are trying to recruit coaches, you need to be able to confidently say, and I remember this in NLC, like when Melanie was talking, is you've got to, no matter if you are the fun coach, no matter if you are a systems coach, if you are a hands-on coach, a non-hands-on coach, your people that you're recruiting are probably going to be very similar in that style. So when you are doing a coach-based or a What is Coaching group or an open house group or a coach webinar, whatever you're doing to recruit and to explain what you're doing, you need to have some kind of system to say, this is how I'm going to help you succeed. And so, just today I'm in the middle of my What is Coaching group right now. And one of my girls said, what if I don't sell Shakeology in a challenge pack? What if I'm not successful? So I did I got on live and just said, look, here's what I have for you. And I explained, like, I didn't become a 2015 Premier Coach because I didn't help my team. You guys have to understand that in order for me to get that, I had to help my girls succeed at what they're doing. I said, I explained in that live chat that I could sell as much as I want, but if I don't help my team duplicate what I'm successful at, my income will never grow. It'll be stagnant. And I'll have good weeks and bad weeks, but it'll pretty much stay probably between that, $50 to maybe $200 to $300 because I'm just making money in the retail commission, not bonus cycles. And that's why I show them the bonus cycles in my doing that one-on-one. So if I just have any kind of word of advice is to figure out who you are in your niche market, and are you going to be a hands-on coach? Are you going to be like, I know Melanie, she's obviously an amazing coach. She's top one. She has her systems in place, and she like doesn't even talk to her coaches until like they're emerald. I mean, like she does, but not like a sit down one-on-one. But, you know, every coach kind of does it completely different, and there's no wrong way, but that's the way her mind thinks. And that's what she said is like when she said she was going to do this, she went and Googled everything about there was to ever know about Beachbody and how she could be successful at it. And so that's her personality, and that's who a lot of she recruits most of the time is those type of personalities. So figure out what your love language is. How do you want, you know, think about to the day you started, and, you know, what do you wish you had? What did you wish that you could have lived without maybe? And, you know, and just kind of go from there. That's my only like word of advice is just figure out who your niche market is. And then you can, you know, duplicate and tweak what you have available at your hands. So, and I don't know if Breezy wants to add on to that. I mean, you're obviously.
Well, I was just going to say like you talked about love languages, and I think a lot about like the Personality Plus book, if you guys have read that. But like I'm a very self-motivated person, which is kind of hard. Like it's hard for me to be a leader because I expect people to be self-motivated. So that's probably why I set up my group structure the way that I have, and why I've always encouraged self-paced things, because I expect people to just jump in and go for it because I did. And so it's been hard for me to offer a little bit extra support or a little bit more, you know, follow up or, you know, different things like that. And Ashley's really good at it. And so it's harder for me to do that because of my personality. So I think it's important too that you identify what kind of your personality is so you can work on your flaws, because you're not only going to attract people just like you that run, you're going to attract people complete opposite of you that need whatever you're not giving them. So I think it's important, like personalities are really kind of key in this business, and they can make or break you. It's true.
So do you guys have like questions? I mean, those are our best practices, but do you guys have questions at all?
I was just going to give like a tip. Like I told you guys, I literally just copied what Ashley was doing in her group. Like I had her Facebook group open, my Facebook group open, and this is something you can do. So if you just do that, open your Facebook groups in 2 tabs. I would like open her documents, her Google documents, and I would just like click make a copy. And then I would go through it. So it was now in my Google Drive. I would tweak it, make it mine, and then just put it into my group and like save the images, copy it over, like tweak it. And it was so easy. So this is literally something that if this is like clicking with your brain and you're like, okay, like I can see myself running a group like this for my team, or I want to, you know, like even if you don't want to set it up all right now, at least get your Coach Basics up. You know, get the Coach Basics section up and your new coach letter done, and just do a little bit here and there. And before you know it, you'll have an established coach training group. So it's seriously so simple to just duplicate. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So, yeah.
And there's very few documents, honestly, that you'd even have to tweak, because it literally is just generic information. I mean, an example, when I tweaked, I took Breezy's hedgehog, and instead of her documents where it shows like what her 5 things are, I edited it to be my 5 things. So just little things like that. But every single one of those albums has a Google Doc attached. That's all it is. It's the topic and the Google Doc. So, but most of those, I don't think you're going to have to sit there and open every doc and sit there and recreate, you know, tweak everything. Most of those are just generic. Okay, you need to post 3 to 5 times a day. Here's a schedule. You know, figure out what you want to talk about. Like, most of them you don't have to actually tweak. There's just a couple that you might, and if you don't have time to tweak them, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just an example. You know what I mean? It doesn't say actually in very many places, because I wanted it to be generic. That was, you know, something that was duplicatable for everyone on the team. So
would you put that in your personally sponsored coach page, or you make your own training page group?
I personally made my own because I wanted a place where like, especially like when I got to the star diamond level, I wanted to make sure that I had the support for any of my coaches that fall out. And so if my builder falls away, I wanted to make sure that this person wasn't lost. And I didn't want my team page to be cluttered. I wanted that to be like a success club atmosphere of pushing, like, we're awesome, you know, kind of develop a team culture in there, where this is more like check in with your stuff. What have you done? You know, all that kind of stuff. So for me, I created it separate, but I think you could create it in your own PS page if that's the way you wanted to go with it, for sure.
Okay.
Anything else? I will post this entire album into our Diamond Dash page. I'll just create a photo album in there so you guys have it. But I just wanted to make sure it made sense before I just plopped it on you and you're thinking, holy tabs open. What is she thinking? So I just wanted to, you know, talk it out so you guys understood. You know, like Breezy said, sorry, I'm just rambling now, but as a teacher, you'll learn that everyone learns differently, right? So some are like your audio, some are visual, some are your hands-on kinesthetic learners. So like she said, like realize that, and realize that this might, you know, someone might not show up on your, you know, weekly Zoom chat that you do that first month, but realize it's okay. You know, they might not need that. They might be that go-getter who can bypass that call. But there's other people that need that reaffirmation of everything, and they need that validation live for them to say, like, this is something you can do. So, you know, just realize as you have different coaches and personalities that they're going to learn different, and don't take offense when they don't show up and they don't respond, because everyone's going to learn a different way. And, you know, and that's a teacher in me. I think as I've created this, putting this together, okay, this might reach this learner, this might reach this person, and kind of go from there. But just keep that in mind as well. Just don't fret, and just be consistent with it. Whatever you decide to do, just be consistent. If you're going to say Tuesday night, don't bail on them Tuesday nights, you know, 2 out of the 3-4 times that you meet. Just be consistent. If no one shows up, do one, you know, record it. And then if you decide you don't want to do live ones, you have a recorded version that you can send them. So, and go from there. So, anything else? Sorry, that was rambling. Okay. We will let you guys go. Know that we love you a ton, and we are here in these dark valleys, and we're here at the high peaks for you guys. And really, like, we are as honest as you know, just realize, like, we're in the same shoes. Like, I know me and Breezy say we text all the time, but we do. Like, she'll vent about something and I'll celebrate about something, and vice versa. Like, it really is the entrepreneur roller coaster ride. So enjoy it, buckle up, and enjoy the ups and downs. So anyways, team call. Breezy's going to be on, so you better not miss, because she is phenomenal, as you all know. So we'll see you guys at 8:30.